So we're going to talk about how the Democrats, I can't really get behind them and support them because they're just too elitist and have no accountability or honesty within themselves. And it's just too much. It's basically the same as the MAGA. And you might see this and ask yourself, oh, well, all they want is health care for all and a clean environment and to help everyone out, and you know, they say all these things to make themselves sound perfect and without flaw, like their sole existence is just they 100% all just help people out, and they don't. Like, go look at all the stuff they cry about not getting voted in, and then go look at how many Democrats didn't vote for that thing that they claimed they wanted. You know? How many of them voted no? You know, how many Democrats voted no along with the Republicans on so many issues? In my own personal experience, in a blue state, a state that's very blue consistently, I experienced personal contamination, and I mean the whole area of the Front Range did from the PFAS stuff that was covered up, but I experienced it personally from oil and gas operations from the oil and gas industry authorized by the state. So when they make these claims about, oh, we're just trying to be clean and not pollute, and you know, all these things, it's hard to hear that when I've been a victim of it personally, and I had to lose my house because of it that I had on acreage. It was a special house, and my well water was contaminated and injured me, and I couldn't do anything about it. I fought it for years and tried to fix it for years, couldn't do anything about it, and ended up just basically having to bail on it. So, and that's in a blue state. So I don't know, I just can't support them yet. I was just checking in on some live stream from Don Lemon, and he had Jasmine Crockett on there. And Jasmine Crockett was the only politician I thought I could, you know, mess with and support. But I mean, she's on there doing the same type of thing, making the same, they all say the same shit. Oh, we're just trying to help and give people things and do the right thing. But it's like, you guys, you're no different. You know, you're all brainwashed. And you go look at these, you bring up any of these facts, any of these live stream comment streams, and the people are fanatical about it. They're psycho fans just like the MAGA people. And they just start trying to insult you. Even though they have no proof of their intelligence, they try to claim that you're the stupid one. And it's like, well, for the record, I've taken multiple IQ tests now from Mensa, and I'm in the top 2% of the world, so I doubt that you're smarter than me. But if you are, go ahead and, you know, prove it, and then I'll listen to what you have to say, I guess. But otherwise, I'm not going to listen, and I don't really care. Yeah. So, I don't know, it's hard to support a party that has no accountability within itself or honesty about its flaws. They just keep parading around like they're this angelic gift to the world that people are just, for no good reason, not accepting them blindly. You know, they just want people to accept them blindly on all these false promises that never get delivered upon, and always conveniently have an excuse to not get delivered on. Meanwhile, all the same stuff they claim they're against, they're voting for. They vote for all this shit for Israel. They vote for all this shit that's polluting and contaminating. They vote for all the shit that enabled the fucking billionaires. They've enabled everything that they are claiming that they are against. They literally enabled and created Elon Musk and worshipped him for a decade before disowning him. So you can't sit here and tell me that they're all about these things when blue states didn't do any of it on their own. They could have enacted some of these policies on their own. You know, they could have used all that weed money to create all the programs they wanted to create for their own state, but they didn't. They didn't even do the things that they said they were going to do with that money. You know, the roads hardly ever get fixed, and all these things still are the same problems. You know, it's all BS. Both sides are the same. Both sides of people are brainwashed into, it's just like a religion at this point. You know, it's like two religions trying to argue with each other about which one's correct. That is the exact same as the political arena nowadays with the left and the right. It's the exact same, and none of it's, you know, they each have their positives and negatives. Mostly negatives, I feel like. I don't support either one of them, but at this point, if the Democrats aren't going to be honest and get with their shit and have some accountability, I'll freaking purposely go for the other side just so we can all have this problem, you know, and just have it. I'm not going to give my will to something that I'm just not going to support either side, you know, plain and simple. They're running out of time, too. I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels this way. So, I mean, I need to hear some accountability from these people. I thought Jasmine Crockett would be the one, but she's delusional as well, I guess. They have no accountability or honesty within their own party. They're delusional and think they're this perfect party with nothing but, you know, trying to help people out and no corruption. It's like, y'all still have corruption. You still have pollution and contamination and cover-ups. You are also on the Epstein list. You know what I mean? Like, they all have the same things. And when it comes to ICE and deportation, both sides enabled that. And I'm going to make a video about that. Maybe I'll get into it right now. But yeah, close this door some more. But yeah, both sides enabled what we're dealing with today with everything. They all voted for it. None of them dismantled anything that came prior, you know. Let's go into that. We'll just do the segment right here, right now. Welcome to the Equilibrium Report, where we don't take sides, we take notes. Tonight's topic: how America quietly built one of the most advanced domestic tracking systems in the world, and how both parties helped make it happen. All right. Let's start with ICE, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. On paper, it's about deporting criminals and enforcing immigration law. In practice, it's become the data-hungry tentacle of a government that never met a database it didn't like. So how are they finding all these people? You know, they're specifically targeting people. They're not just cruising around and being like, oh, this person looks this way, let's go bother them. They're looking for these people specifically and targeting the areas and the people specifically. So how are they targeting these people? No one's talking about that, right? But they have access to every tracking tool that's been created and enabled ever since 9/11. They pull fingerprints from the FBI database, They cross-check DMV records, tax filings, and utility bills. They get access to private surveillance data, license plate readers, which are popping up everywhere, facial recognition, and phone location pings, all from companies like Palantir and LexisNexis. It's a digital web that can find almost anyone, anywhere. And here's the kicker. This wasn't all just recent and developed under Trump or one party. Republicans built much of the machine after 9/11, Homeland Security, the Patriot Act, and then ICE itself. All born under the banner of national security. The right said it was about safety. Then came the Democrats, who didn't dismantle it at all. They perfected it. Under Obama, deportations hit record highs, the tech got smarter, the databases got bigger, and the money kept flowing in. Under Biden, ICE rolled out new mobile tracking apps like SmartLink that use facial recognition and GPS to keep tabs on migrants released from custody. So much for rolling back enforcement. So now we've got bipartisan buy-in on a system that watches everyone, not just the people it's supposed to. Both sides swear they're protecting the country, but neither side seems bothered that the same surveillance powers used to find undocumented workers today could track a protester tomorrow. The equilibrium here is simple. The left says it's compassion, the right says it's law and order, but the result is the same, a government that's traded freedom for efficiency and privacy for control. So when you hear politicians argue about who's soft on immigration, remember, they're fighting over who gets to hold the leash, not whether we should have built the cage. And that's what I have to say about that. So how are they tracking all those people? That's what we were talking about. You can go into that a lot deeper as well. Here's some of the mechanisms. Data and interagency sharing. Like I said, they use all the information from all the systems, from authority and government and privacy, the private sector. It's all up for grabs. Intelligence and surveillance. They have access to all of that. And they use audits of employers' I-9 forms. And I'm sure they're using some other means as well as specific targeting, but I'm sure there's not specific information readily available on that. I mean, if you have a phone, they're tracking that and looking at that. But anyway, so it's no King's Day. I was going to go and take a look, but I ended up having to deal with some problems at the house. I'm just now getting done and whatnot. It took all day. But yeah, the Dems need to get it together. They're just tooting this elitist horn about themselves and like they're this picture perfect party and have no faults. And it's just it's easy to say what people want. It's easy to say what people need, but then you have to do it. You have to actually vote for it and do your part. But they don't. You know, they pushed Hillary on you instead of Bernie, and they were tied in with Epstein just as much as Trump.